Hi, I never do this, but due to the way this whole situation behind these switches unfolded, this first run packaging is likely to become a collector's item, which means the pre-sales are probably going to sell out really fast. So the TLDR for this video today, these switches in stock form, they've got some opportunities. But if you're willing to lube these things, they're legit, super legit. My only real criticism being that there's some stem wobble there. The tolerances could be a little tighter on that. So don't let me hold you up. Pause me, go over there, get your pre-order taken care of, and then come back and watch the rest of the video. I'll wait. We good? Great. Let's start the show. Oh man, what a serious situation. I don't think I've seen anything cause this much drama at this scale in the keyboarding community since I started this channel. I'll put a link down in the description from a statement recently from Glorious's own CEO talking about all the recent events about the name and the trademark drama and which way they decided to go with that. So we don't have to dedicate any of today's review to addressing any of that stuff and can instead just talk about the quality, the performance, and the value of the Switch itself. I really wanted to do a comparison to the Drop Panda as well, but this is gonna sound like a joke or like a little jab at Drop. It's not, but they've been delayed again till the end of September, so I couldn't get my hands on those. It's also worth noting here too, for some of you more skeptical viewers out there, that I have affiliate agreements with both Glorious and with Drop. So you're gonna get a real deal take on anything I have to say about the situation because I have skin in the game either way. I do happen to have some real deal Polar Pandas in-house today though, so you'll still get the comparison that you came for. You ready? Let's go! Yo, I'm Brian P. You're watching Bad Seed Tech, and today we're taking a look at the Glorious the Glorious Panda switches from Glorious PC Gaming Race. So this is Glorious's first effort at a switch of their own. The packaging you see today will still feature the Holy Panda name. After the first run, it will not. It will change to the Glorious Panda. Hit that link in the description for the post about why that wasn't well received by the community and how Glorious chose to handle that situation. These will retail for $24.99 and are available only in 36 packs, making costs right at 70 cents per switch. Compare that to Drop's offering available in 70, 90, and 110 packs with prices ranging from $121 per switch to $114 depending on how many you buy. The pack size is a little curious as you'll generally need 2 packs to cover pretty much everything. Even a 40% needs at least 40 switches. 2 packs will cover you all the way through a 65. Anything north of that, you'll need 3 packs. That'll cover you for 75 TKL in full size. At first glance, I thought this was just some trickery to dick you into buying an extra pack of switches when you only needed a few more to get where you're going. But based on the fact that a TKL uses 87 and 3 packs comprises 108 switches, I don't think it's as convenient as having 10-pack purchasing options, obviously, but it's not the dick move that I thought it was. So Holy Panda itself is one of the most confusing concepts to newcomers and one of the most expensive for enthusiasts. The original real Holy Panda is comprised of the housing, the leaf, and the spring from the B-Sun Jesus Switch created by Envir, a person. It didn't really get rave reviews on its own, but when somebody popped in the tactile stem from the Halo True, a cult classic was born. The only real problem being that you had to buy 2 switches to create one, and that's where the high cost came into play. Because the tooling or mold used to make that original switch housing was presumed lost or destroyed, it created a market for copycat housings and one of the biggest unsolved mysteries of the keyboard scene. As we stand today, Drop owns the Halo True and Clear stems, some version of whatever switch housing, and allegedly a royalty to Envir for use of the name. The stem is legit, but the housing is sus, so it's not really a true Holy Panda. The Glorious version allegedly uses the original B-Sun tooling to create the housing and leaf, modified for their logo, but a different stem since Drop owns the rights to the Halo stuff. So it's not really a true Holy Panda either, which is just one reason why people got bent at the use of the name, especially when they tried to trademark it. Again, see that link in the description. Which one is the more accurate representation of the original Holy Panda is the stuff of legend, speculation, and opinion. I'm not here today to solve that mystery. It's important to note too that most plastics manufacturers, switch manufacturers, are not real keen on the idea of revealing their specific formula they use for their plastic compound. So everything we're going to look at today for the Glorious Switch is based on the assumption that they're being forthright about the fact that they do have the original molds and the type of plastics used in their construction. So we have a beige colored housing similar to an NK Blueberry or a Cream. The top shell is polycarbonate, bottom shell is nylon PA66, leaf is copper from Japan, spring is 67 gram stainless with nickel plate from Korea, and the stem is palm from Japan. They ship dry, not lubed, which we'll talk about in just a couple minutes. As I said, the drop version of these switches are delayed again, so the closest comparison I have in-house is a Polar Panda. These are a yoke Panda housing, a clone of the original B-Sun housings, with a legit Halo Clear stem lubed with 205 grade 0 and a 60 gram spring. Looking at stem for stem, we've got more play or stem wobble on the Glorious Panda. I would have liked to seen some tighter tolerances here. They are consistent in that the stem does not depress fully flush with the top of the housing, and we can see that there is some difference in the shape of the leg that gives each switch its tactility. Glorious is very upfront about this too, noting in their words, less pre-travel for the tactile bump to occur and a stronger upward stroke. In practice, I do find both of these to be true, but with a caveat. Spring weight is a touch higher on the Glorious. That's apparent. How sharp and where that tactility occurs is obvious if you're auditing these, like you're looking for the difference. It doesn't jump out at me when I'm just typing, and the heavier handed you type, the less apparent this is going to be. I'm going to say that the Polar Pandas have like a sharper, snappier tactility, while the Glorious is more of a smoother tactility. While some people may prefer to have the lube done for them at the factory, I think shipping them dry is the right move. There are issues with factory lube, consistent application being the most common. The other is them shipping with lube that's not the viscosity that you would personally choose. So if you find yourself in a situation where you have to break down all those components and clean them first, before you start to lube, that sounds like a nightmare, and it is something that previous owners of the Drop Pandas have been vocal about in the past. That said, I think the Glorious Pandas need to be lubed to get the most out of their smoothness and, more importantly, their acoustics. Without lube, the spring crunch and ping is really obvious. There is some scratch there too. The lubing negates that, and it gets you that coveted thok sound. These still get close to that sound without lube, but to really deliver the goods, you need to lube these. The Glorious Panda housing is plate mount, which means it lacks the 2 additional stabilizer pins. The GMMK Hot Swap board is geared to accept these as well as the Polar Pandas. It's important to note that the Glorious Pandas can be used in any keyboard that has a plate, like the Drop keyboards or the GMMK or the NK65 entry, which I like to use for testing because it's a polycarb case and the dampening is very good. So like I said, lubing is essential to get the most out of these. I was honestly shocked at how close they come in sound profile to a proper Panda. In the NK65 with the ABS caps, I still think the Polar Panda takes it. In the GMMK with PBT, I would be really hard pressed to tell the difference. And in a blind test, both my girlfriend and my brother picked the Glorious as having the better sound profile. I think no matter how you slice that, that's really high praise for a Switch coming in at 70 cents. And if you saw the review on the Kiwis and that higher pitch sound profile isn't for you, these will definitely fit the bill. A couple other things to take into consideration is that these will affect the overall aesthetic of your board if you're using a floating Switch or a low profile frame. They're not clear tops, obviously. They do have a pass-through hole in the Switch to allow the LED to light the character, and they also do still throw some RGB on the board itself, but not as much as we see in a clear top Switch. Most people won't care about this, but it's important to point out if you're super into RGB. At the end of the day, regardless of the legend and the mystique surrounding the original Holy Panda, what we have here is a tactile Switch that gets dangerously close to a true Panda, both in feel and sound. And just in general is a really solid tactile, especially at this price point. It can get you that thok sound that a lot of us are chasing. Also, I have to mention, I had zero quality control concerns with anything inside the 3 packs that Glorious sent out. If they can maintain that level of QC and maintain consistent stock at this price point, it has the potential to be very disruptive to the market, and it's gonna be really interesting to see how Drop responds to this, if they respond at all. It's my understanding that if you're watching this, the pre-sales are already live. So if you've watched all the way to this point, number one, thank you, and number two, you probably missed out on the first run. I will have a review of the GMMK Ice White with its revisions out soon, as well as a head-to-head versus the Drop Holy Panda Switch, just as soon as I can get my hands on some. Affiliate links down in the description for everything we looked at today. And that's it for this time. I'm Brian P. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to hit that like button, hit that sub button, and until next time, stay up.